Shalom, aloha. It is almost Shabbat. Tomorrow's Shabbat, so as usual, I wanted to come on to prepare anybody who's interested with the Torah story for tomorrow. So the Torah story or portion or Parsha is called Eikev. And you can spell it E-I-K-E-V, as I spelled it in the title of this video, or you could spell it E-K-E-V. And I'm telling you the spelling because if you want to do your own research, you will find that there are two ways of spelling Eikev. So last week's Parsha Va'etchanan was when Moses addressed the nation of Israel and said, I'm not going to be able to enter the land, so let's review a little bit. And he says, you have everything you need within you to succeed in this land. Just remember the mitzvot of the commandments and the mezuzot and the tefillin and the Shema. So he reminds the Israelites of all of the most important tools that they have and that they don't really need anything outside of them, that all of this is within them. And now we come to Parshat Eikev, where this is really Moses' farewell address. And last week the Parsha was considered like a mini Torah within the Torah because it addressed these fundamentals, it addressed these tools that are at the core or foundation of Judaism. And this week, it's kind of a continuation of that. So last week we spoke about the Shema and the commandments. This week we're speaking about the second part of the Shema, which is called Ve'ahavta. So you may know the Shema prayer, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kavod, Machuto, Le'olam Va'ed. This is only the first part. After we say this, and this is every morning when we wake up and every night when we go to sleep, we say the second half of the Shema, which is called the Ve'ahavta. And it goes on to basically say, and you shall love the Lord our God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. And it's a very powerful invocation. And it goes on as well to say, put this prayer on your doorpost, right? The mezuzahs. And say this when you rise up and when you go to sleep. And remember to tell your children, and your children will tell their children, and their children will tell their children. And you will never forget. And if you do this, you will remember my commandments. And if you remember my commandments and you do them, you will be blessed. This is basically a summary of the Va'ahavta, the continuation of the Shema. Okay, so this whole prayer is about, listen, Israel, which is not just a country, it's a nation, right? I can say, listen, light workers. The Lord our God, the Lord is one. So it's addressing the unity of consciousness and the Creator and all of creation. And then it goes on to say, and remember to pass this along to all future generations. And if you remember the commandments, you'll be just fine. Not only will you be fine and protected, you will be blessed. So this Parsha focuses on that. And I've mentioned before that the title of each Parsha gives a hint as to what the story is going to be about. The title itself is a summary of the portion. So Eikev, it has a couple of different meanings. One of them that I want to talk about is, it translates to, if you follow. So this title is hinting at the message of the story being, if you follow the commandments, if you follow the laws, which, by the way, are written into our very DNA. They're not just from a book. They're not just from any one culture's depiction or interpretation. The laws are a natural byproduct of our oneness. They are no-brainers. When we consider that everything is one, these laws are naturally presented. Laws to live by. Maintaining the balance. And so it's saying, Eikev, if you follow these laws, you will be blessed. So if we're looking at where we're at in the story right now, the Israelites are about to enter the Holy Land, and Moses is giving his farewell speech. He cannot go. This is all saying, hey, you're about to enter the Holy Land. It's like a whole new beginning. It's like Genesis all over again in a way. And saying, you're about to enter. And if you follow the laws, you will be blessed. So it's all about you will be protected and blessed. You will be protected and blessed. Moses in this Parsha gives the nations of Israel a sneak preview of what's to come. He tells them about the land of milk and honey. He mentions the 7 species. I'm not going to go into that right now. I will post more about it in our private Shabbat crew group later today, actually in a short bit here. But if you would like to do your own research, I highly recommend writing this down. The 7 species. Google it. Learn about these 7 species of the Holy Land because they're very important and there's so much to discuss about them. And again, I'm going to share some articles and resources in a little bit here. But he basically mentions to them, look, this is a preview of what you're stepping into. It's going to be so blessed if you follow. If you follow the laws, if you follow the commandments, it's going to be so blessed. Land of milk and honey. So finally now we're getting that like positive projection into the future where the last couple of parshas have been really intense, very, like a recollection of all of the hard times and the complaints and the suffering. Now we're getting into the, it's up to you. If you follow the commandments, it could actually be blessed. The land of milk and honey, the 7 species await you. Divine blessings. A big part of this parsha also is humility. The fear of God is mentioned as the most important aspect upon entering the land in this parsha. And what is the fear of God, though? How can we translate that? A lot of people hear fear of God, fear of God, and they want to close up when they hear that. What is this fear? It's like the new age in us wants to say, oh, that's old school. That's, religion taught us fear. But technically, this word for fear translates to awe as well. If you really open up your heart and look closely at the meaning of fear or awe in this parsha, it's saying, if you do not step into this new beginning with that fear of God, then you're at risk for allowing your ego to self-sabotage. You're at risk for allowing your ego to destroy not only your own life, but the life of the nation, Yisrael, and the life of the world. So it's saying in order to step forward, put our best foot forward as we're about to enter the promised land, whatever that represents for you today, walk with the fear of God or walk with the awe for our Creator. Because when you do that, it puts you in a space of humility. It reminds you to fear nothing but God, which is one, which you are a part of. It's not saying to bow down to something outside of yourself. It's just saying fear nothing but God. And what that subconsciously does to us is it helps us to stay in a place of humility, and it helps us to not sin, to align ourselves with virtue, so that as we walk into this new journey, we promise ourselves and we promise ourself, the one self and Creator, that I'm going to stay humble, I'm going to do my best, and I'm going to put that fear in me of the consequences of sin. Not because, my actions won't be forgiven. There's always forgiveness. Not because of that, but because I want to make myself afraid of sinning, so that subconsciously I have this program within me telling me, don't sin. Do whatever you have to do. Think whatever you have to think to ensure the path of virtue, right? So the fear of God, seeing it in this way, it's actually such a beautiful and positive thing. It's saying, yeah, you should fear the consequences. And in that way, in the deepest part of your being, you know to avoid vice and sin. So this is a huge part of this parsha. Walking with the fear of God, or the awe of God. It's one. They are the same. Fear nothing but God. Okay, another thing is, this is the parsha where it's mentioned to circumcise your heart. What does Moses mean when he says circumcise your heart? He's saying we have to cut away the doubt, the veil, the layer that keeps us from staying open to giving and receiving love. Circumcise your heart. Purify your heart. Remove the veils, because we're about to enter the Holy Land and we want to connect our hearts to the heart of that land. And if we're talking about today, this day and age, we can relate to it in a way where we see the Holy Land as something that we're stepping into right now. What are you stepping into right now? What is this new journey you're stepping into right now? What is new in your life right now? And how can you see how you must circumcise your heart? Remove the layers, the doubts, the fears, the anxieties, so that your heart can be absolutely open to connect to the heart of the situation that you're stepping into, to connect to the hearts of the ones that you are about to come in contact with, the ones that you don't even know you're going to come in contact with. You know what I'm saying? Keep your heart open. Circumcise your heart is just saying, don't close up. Stay open so that you become a pure transmitter of love. Don't harden your heart. Find the place of doubt in your heart and cut it away. That's the circumcision of the heart. Another really important aspect of this parsha is the commandments. In this parsha, in the Torah, it says you must obey all the commandment. Singular. And the Torah does not make mistakes. We know this. If there appears to be a mistake, it's asking us to look deeper, to find the hidden meaning. So when it refers to the commandments as singular, it's telling us, do not treat any one commandment as more important than another. They are all equally important, despite our human or egoic judgments upon each of the commandments and how important each one is. They're all of equal importance. Again, the commandments are natural laws that are born of the oneness of our being. They're all equally important because they all help us to maintain awareness of our oneness and to treat ourselves and all of life with respect, with honor, with gratitude. If in our minds we judge any one of the commandments to be less important than another, what that's reflecting is that we believe that there's some part of the one, of the whole, that's more important than another. This is not okay. We need to see all parts as equally important. We need to see each commandment as an important law to uphold, each commandment as equally important in order to stay and be whole, holy. Honor each commandment, live by each one. Know that each moment is equally as important as the next. Look closely at where your human mind wants to judge one thing as more important than another thing. One person more important than another person. One situation more important than another situation. And this makes me think of the MLK quote, injustice somewhere is injustice everywhere, right? Something like this. It's like, if our brothers and sisters are suffering in one part of the world, we are suffering because we're a whole, we're together, we're one, we're connected. And if we can really get to that point of truly knowing in our heart of hearts that everything is one, then we can heal this planet. We can heal the separation, tikkun olam. We can repair this world and prepare for the world to come, anchor in the new earth. Enough with this, everything is one, but. No, everything is one and that's it. We perpetuate the separation. We perpetuate this hierarchy BS when we insert that but. Everything is one, but. No. Everything is one and that's it. So despite the paradox, despite our outer reality, trying to make us believe that we need to make excuses, we have to go straight to the one. We have to maintain this knowing that everything is one, and we have to start behaving from that space. Because until we take action upon that absolute belief and faith that everything is one, we're going to perpetuate the problems in this world. So we need to really have this consciousness that if there is injustice anywhere in the world and we're aware of it, it's our responsibility to do something about it. And we must walk with the knowing that that injustice is affecting us. We are one. There are no ifs, ands, or buts. We are one. And we have to act from this place. So just like this, it's the same thing. All commandments are equal. All commandments are one. All things are one. So pay attention every moment, every day of your life Stay vigilant of your own thoughts. Pay attention inside first before you even look out here. This is all a reflection of what's in here anyway. So, and this really helps you tap into your inner high priestess archetype. And this is for men and women. It's the intuitive aspect of ourselves that looks within and maintains balance and maintains vigilance and a sharp awareness of what's going on in there. It's the gatekeeper, the guard of what's coming in and what we're letting out. We all have this archetype, so let's tune into that high priestess archetype. Let's close our eyes and go within and stay vigilant and ask, how are my thoughts reflecting a judgment? How and does this judgment serve life, serve the creator, or does it not? How am I sneakily believing that one thing is more important than another, one person more important than another, one home more important than another home? How am I maybe thinking too much about another country before I even think about this one? Or how am I thinking about this country too much before I'm thinking about another one? How can I think about all countries as one? The more we can bring our thoughts back to this oneness, the more we can live in that wholeness and holiness from within our hearts and shine that out into the world. So this is the key for this week, you guys. Everything is one, and remember that not one thing is more important than another. So when the human mind wants to judge one thing as more important than another, whether it's a person or a place or a thing, doesn't matter. Therein lies the opportunity to shift your consciousness, to shift your awareness, to start bringing everything to an equal level, to seeing everything as an equal opportunity to give our best, do our best, serve, love, offer our light, our awareness. Where are we judging one person, place, or thing as more important than another? And how can we level that out? How can we bring balance there? Because the more we do that, the more we also align ourselves with the commandments and begin to organically give our awareness to all of the commandments and obey them simultaneously. So all of the commandments are important. All things are equally important. How can you, despite the ego's desire to justify the separation, how can you bring things back to oneness, back to unity? Sometimes we say, everything is one in this world, but we need to make money. But we need to do this, but we need to do that. That's all fear speaking. Of course we need to make money, but that's not something we need to focus on. We need to water the roots, not the fruits. We need to walk with absolute faith that if we do our best and we follow the commandments, we follow the laws, we serve, we love, we give, we be the best version of ourselves we can be, we walk the virtuous path, then the money will come, then all of the right opportunities will come, then all of the right relationships will come. We'll have everything we need. We need to stop worrying about the needs. Oh, but I need this, but I need that, because we live in this world, so we just gotta, focus on that. This is coming from lack consciousness. This is coming from fear. This is coming from anxiety. This is coming from doubt in the Creator. And the Torah shows us again and again that what happens when we have that doubt? We are punished. We're punished. And don't think it's gonna be so simple where it's like, oh, I doubted and now I was punished, so I learned. No, it's not that simple. We doubt and the punishment comes, but perhaps after some temporary satisfaction. So, for example, first we have our doubts, we live out of fear, and because we do that, we may, we say, oh gosh, I'm in fear, so I need to make money. So maybe, we make money. Maybe we quickly make money out of that fear and that lack. We make the money. But pay attention closely. How long does that money last? How sustainable are your efforts? How sustainable is your plan that's coming from fear? It's not. So pay attention closely, because that's the trick. God wants you to really look and really listen to be able to learn for yourself. God doesn't want to just hand this wisdom to you. There's no point to do that. This is the whole reason for our existence and why we're here in this dimension. Pay attention. When you act out of fear, there may be temporary satisfaction, but it's unsustainable. So we need to stop living from fear. This has been the Torah message again and again and again over these last few weeks especially. And if we live out of love and trust and faith, Same concept. God doesn't want it to be so easy for us. He wants us to really make sure we sustain this faith, this trust. So for example, we may say, you know what? Despite my fear of lack and despite my fear of like not making money, I'm still going to do what's right. Even though I know that doing what's right may bring me less money or may seemingly take away what I have at first, I trust that if I do what's right for the one, this will come back to me in a more sustainable way. So you may give something that at first you were afraid of giving. Maybe you were reluctant to give, but then you're like, I know this is what's right, and you give. And at first, you may feel like you have less. Yeah, you just gave. But give it a little time. Don't let the doubt creep in, because that's where you then spiral downward and you start to cultivate more doubt and more doubt and more doubt. No, hold on to the faith, give in faith, and stay rooted in the faith and trust that, of course, it's not going to, at first, it's not going to come right to you. It's not going to come right back to you like a boomerang. There's a time delay in this dimension of time and space, this dimension of illusion. So stay rooted in your faith. Trust that what you're doing is right. Know that what you're doing is right and ground into that. And watch how the blessings do come back to you, but not just you, to everyone, to all of life, because you did what was right. That's a more sustainable method. But you got to really stay rooted in your faith and continue to do these acts of goodness. Because until you really do that, you won't be able to see the blessings that truly come of it. This is so important to understand. You have to choose the path of virtue, choose the path of goodness, and stay fiercely on that path in order to make a change in your life and in the lives of others and in the life of our shared world. It's not as simple as you do one good thing and then everything's fine. The path is not easy, but who said it would be? We didn't come here for it to be easy. Do you think your higher self said, yeah, I want to go to earth so that it could be easy and I could just like live a life of blessing? No, everything's already perfect in a spiritual dimension. Everything's already perfect in the dimension beyond this one. We didn't come here for that. We came here knowing that this is all temporary anyway, so we don't have to have any fear. What we're here for is the challenge, because the challenge is the opportunity. We came here for the struggle so that we could persevere and sharpen our will through it all. Sharpen our will to return to the Creator, to align our will with the will of the Creator, with the will of the divine. This is why we're here. You didn't come here for it to be easy, so stop playing yourself. And we really, again, need to look at this excuse that we all make of, yeah, everything is one, but. No, everything is one, so it's up to you to act on that knowing and make a change in this world. Because when we say everything is one, but, then we act from this place of fear, anxiety, doubt, excuses, and all we do is crystallize even further that separation and that pain and that suffering. It's up to us. We are the pillars of the future. We are the way showers. Am Yisrael Chai. We are the nation of Yisrael. Not how you're seeing it in the media right now. Oh my goodness, there's a huge rise of anti-Semitism and neo-Nazism right now. You guys, this work in keeping the Shabbat and in studying Torah and in uniting in this idea of Israel, it's more important than ever. But we need to understand what Yisrael really is. It's not just a physical location on this earth. It is a nation of beings who does what is right. This is the ancient meaning. This is the timeless meaning of Yisrael, of Israel, what that means. Is real. Isis, Ra, El. God wrestler is one of the many interpretations of the definition of the word Yisrael. There are so many different interpretations. In fact, I will share some at the end of this video. I'm writing it down now. Definitions. And the 7 species. But Yisrael is for anybody who wants to be a part of it. The chosen people, what does that mean? We are one. If you choose the path, voila, you are chosen. So Yisrael to me, is a nation of light workers who are in their integrity, who are upholding the commandments or the laws that are written into our DNA. Is that you? That's you. If you're watching this video, I know it's you. And if you're a part of the Shabbat crew group, I know it's you. And we have such a beautiful group of people from all over the world who meet here in this group. All different religions, cultures, colors, ages, sex, race, it doesn't matter. We're one. And if you choose the path to remember our oneness and to act upon that oneness, congratulations, you are the chosen one, because you chose to be a part of this one. And remember, and honor and respect, love, and be grateful for this one of which we're all a part. So yes, Am Yisrael Chai, live on Yisrael, and we need to understand this and spread this information now more than ever, because Yisrael has been misperceived, misunderstood by the majority of people in our world across time and space. This is why the Jews have been persecuted for so long. So we need to really shift that understanding and shift the definition of Yisrael, especially now. As things are getting worse and worse by the day, we need to shift this. We need to turn things around. Are you with me? Are you with me? So thank you for being a part of this group, this consciousness, this awareness. Thank you for helping me on this mission of returning to our original understanding and definition of Yisrael. Shema Yisrael. Listen, Israel. Listen, light workers who are really doing the work. That's you. Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Adonai our God. The Lord our God, the Lord is one. This prayer is for everyone. And the Hebrew is a code. So when we say it in Hebrew, it's a code. It has a vibration. It's a science. It's for all of us to use. So I encourage you to study the Kabbalistic or mystical understanding of the Shema prayer and study it. Let it into your heart. Open up your heart. Really tune in. And then use this prayer. Say it when you wake up first thing. Say it when you lie down. Last thing in your day. Put the mezuzahs on your doorposts. Learn about the mezuzahs. It's not just for Jews. What is a Jew? What is Jewish? What does that mean anyway? It just means somebody who does good, somebody who chooses to uphold the commandments and the laws. There's so many people in the world doing this. Call it what you want. But I offer you this idea that you can use the mitzvot of mezuzot. You can do the good deed of having a mitzvah on all of your doorposts except the bathroom, because this is for anyone who wants to access this science. The Kabbalists weren't all Jewish. Some of the most famous Kabbalists were not, but they adopted Jewish rituals, Hasidic Jewish law, because they saw the science in it. So you can do that too. Okay, so remember, Parshat Eikev. This parsha is Moses' farewell speech. It's about, listen, here you go. You're about to enter the Holy Land. You're about to cross the River Jordan. Remember, if you follow the commandments, you will be blessed. So it's all about Ve'ahavta, the second part of the Shema, invoking that kavanah, that spirit, to do good, be of service, to love our Creator and all of creation that is in the hands of the Creator. With all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. It's saying, fill that up right now. And move forward in humility. We're in the 45 days between the fall of the temple and then Tu B'Av, also what's known as like the Hebrew Valentine's Day. We're in between that and Rosh Hashanah right now. And Rosh Hashanah is the new year. It's when we renew our soul. It's when we prepare our vessel to receive more light. And I have lots of videos about this. I'm so excited to be sharing sharing about this with you as we approach the high holy days, because this is like the most important time of the year coming up. So we're in those days of preparation for those high holy days. It's time for us to prepare ourselves for that. And so the best way we could do that is by staying humble. Remember the fear and awe of God. Stay humble, okay? Study the Ve'ahavta, study the 7 species, study the definitions of Israel, and know that if you choose, you're chosen. Really looking forward to the Shabbat blessing tomorrow for the candle lighting. So if you want to join, we do it every week on Friday evening, as you guys know. If you're new to this group and didn't know, it's exactly 18 minutes before sundown, and I'm in Sedona, Arizona. So I go by the time here, Mountain Standard Time. So I will have to look at, actually we can look right now, it's on my calendar. Tomorrow is the 30th, right? So we're going to light the candles at 7:10 MST, 7:10 Mountain Standard Time. So I'll see you guys here for that. I'm so excited. And it's so beautiful because we sing the ancient melody. And last week I sang it with a friend, and that was new. She hasn't done that with me before, so that was so much fun. And I'm really looking forward to those other beautiful souls who've been coming to my home for Shabbat to learn this ancient melody so that more of us can sing it together. You know, when you have 10 people singing the melodies, it's called a minyan, M-I-N-Y-A-N. And it takes the prayer and the power to the next level. Okay, think of 10. What is 10? It's the 1 with the power of 0. It's the power of the 1 multiplied. So when you have 10 people, it's a mitzvah. It's like a huge blessing. So my goal is to get at least 10 people to come every Shabbos to my house and sing this blessing together. And then eventually from there to build and to learn the other prayers and to do the whole Shabbat service together. Wow, what that does for the world. If there is one ritual the Kabbalists say to keep, it's Shabbat. It's the one that's going to bring us into Olam Haba, the new world, the new earth. So I would love for y'all to learn the ancient melody and sing along with us. There's karaoke on YouTube. You can Google Shabbat candle lighting blessing and learn the song. And please, when we go live, sing it. And record it as well as we're live. If you could, how beautiful would that be? To record yourself singing and us at the same time so that you can then post it later and we can hear it together. That's amazing. So I encourage you to learn it. It can be intimidating at first, but it's really quite short. And you'd be surprised how quickly you can learn it. And it's so beautiful and powerful what it does to your spirit, what it does to your mind, what it does to your body, what it does for the one. So please join us. Learn the ancient melody for the Shabbat candle lighting blessing. Or at least start with just the words. You could look at the transliteration in English letters online. And I just look forward to doing this with y'all tomorrow. See who comes over to my home so that you can meet them on the camera like we do every Friday night. And one more thing, the activation, because we do the weekly activations with the Tarot Torah, is going to be on Saturday. So if you don't know what that is, basically it happens every quarter of the moon cycle, so 4 times a month. We gather and I go live on my main Facebook page. It also gets shared to our private group called The Royal Path. It also gets shared to my Instagram, Rebecca Magic, and my YouTube, Rebecca Magic. And the way that we do it is the tarot, I see the tarot as a mini Torah. The tarot to me is the Torah. It's a condensed pictorial version of the Torah. And so we extract a message that is no different from the wisdom of the Torah. So it may be a little bit different from tarot as you know it, or tarot as you've experienced it along your path. But the way we approach it is Kabbalistic. So the tarot and the Torah from this perspective really go together. Therefore, Shabbat Crew, our private group, a lot of you may be interested in joining our other group, the Royal Path. They really go together. You often will see how the current Torah Parsha aligns with the weekly activation. It's quite incredible. So if you'd like to experience that synergy of the Torah and the Tarot, I encourage you to join our other private group, the Royal Path. All right, guys, I love you so much. Thank you for all of your support and for joining in this community and for doing the Shabbat rituals. Please light some candles, learn, be inspired, learn about Shabbat, and tap in your own way. What feels right for you? How can you be more ritualistic in your practice? That's up to you. And please share what you find. Please share insights in our private group here. Please share photos, videos. I want to hear from you. I love you guys so much. Shalom.